Today was a summer Friday, so I had a couple extra hours. So I used it to watch far too many movies because my foot is broken still and I can't leave my house. So why not watch movies, right? That's all I ever do. So I liked two of these films. I didn't like two of these films. They were all watched on TCM, on Watch TCM app. They all played last week, so some of them are expiring soon. So if you're interested in watching them, watch them right away because they're expiring. The first one was unfortunately a musical. I didn't realize it was a musical when I read the plot summary, and I should have known when I saw Jane Powell that it was a musical, but I just wanted to see Danielle Daru and Fernando Lamas, and then the next thing I know, I'm watching a musical with Wendell Corey singing. Wendell Corey was singing. It was horrible. This movie was called Rich, Young, and Pretty, and supposedly it's set in Paris, but it's all in sound stages, and it's not like an American in Paris sound stages where they kind of make you feel like you're in Paris. Like, it was just sound stages and like horribly cramped rooms and obnoxious people singing, and I just did not like this movie. The plot is that a diplomat and his daughter go from Texas to Paris for some unknown reason. They never actually really explain. That's Jane Powell and Wendell Corey. Danielle Daru, there we go. She's still alive, by the way, is her mother. They have parted a long time ago, and she's trying to figure out how to kind of maybe meet her daughter. And, shenanigans ensue. I really didn't like this film. That's really all I'm going to say. I just didn't like it. I've seen 15. Sorry that my thing is moving. That's the cat hitting my computer. I've seen 15 Wendell Corey movies, and I hate that. I hate it. He's one of my least favorite actors. The next film I watched, I really enjoyed, except the last 10 minutes. I didn't like the last 10 minutes of this movie, which I'm not going to tell you what happens because that would spoil it, but I didn't like it. And this was 1948's June Bride. Stars Bette Davis and Robert Montgomery. I believe this is the first time they worked together, even though they were both at Warner Brothers for all that time. I've now seen 42 Robert Montgomery movies. That's a number I'm proud of. I love Robert Montgomery, not as a person, but as an actor. Just gonna say that. Oh, sorry, I just yawned. So in this story, Robert Montgomery is a war correspondent who has come back, and his publisher is like, I don't have a post for you. I'm going to put you on this women's magazine. Sorry. The editor of the women's magazine just happens to be his ex-lover that he jilted 20 years earlier. They're both now in their 40s. He has to go work on this women's magazine, and they end up going to Indiana where they're going to do a story on a girl who's getting married, and her mother's a longtime reader. There's a lot of jokes about small town America, because they're from New York, and a lot of jokes about Indiana. There's the cutest pig I've ever seen in a movie, the most beautiful pig ever. So pretty, wearing a bow. I rewound that scene a few times. I love piggies, and that piggy was so cute. And then the piggy nuzzles Robert Montgomery's face, and I was like, this is cinema content. This also has wisecracking Mary Wicks, and one of the later performances from Faye Bainter, who's someone I always love. So obviously it's just City Slickers in Indiana, shenanigans, teenage girls, Robert Montgomery trying to get a real story, Bette Davis barking orders at him, them flirting, all kinds of good stuff all in one movie. The last 10 minutes, I don't want to spoil it because I didn't see it coming, but I also really didn't like the ending, but it's very of its time. So it's one of those, I don't like it, but I see why it happened. Because, put women back, I'm spoiling it a little bit, put women back in the kitchen, basically. So, yes, that was June Bride. I think it's on Warner Archive. DVD, probably. So the next film I watched, not on DVD anymore, I don't think, but was at one point from Criterion. It's out of print now. And this was a Powell and Pressburger film that I've never seen before called The Small Back Room, or in America, Hour of Glory. Stars Powell and Pressburger favorites Kathleen, Byron, and David Farrar. It's a kind of noir-esque, but it's a World War II film where he is working in a special back room where they're like doing science shit to like figure out how to dismantle experimental bombs. She is his girlfriend. He's an alcoholic because he has a fake foot, and he's always in pain, and so he drinks to numb the pain of his foot, and he's very acerbic, and Kathleen Byron is very patient with him. But finally, at one point, she just can't put up with his shit anymore. There are shades of like the relationship in A Lonely Place kind of in this film, but this predates In a Lonely Place. This is from 1949. There's a very tension-filled final scene where he's trying to defuse a bomb on a beach. This is in black and white, which is very strange for Powell and Pressburger. It's not what you expect. But if you know their beautiful color cinematography, it is gorgeous black and white cinematography, gorgeous lighting, use of lighting. Like Kathleen Byron looks like an angel several times. Really crazy angles, really good look at alcoholism. There's a scene of like alcoholic sort of making for hallucination that is like up there with like the great alcoholic breakdown scenes, you know. Really interesting use of cinematography and story, and just a great film. Came out in 1949 in England, but didn't come out until 1952 in America, and is no longer available on DVD, so I don't know how you're going to watch it. It's going to expire. You have a couple days left to watch it on the Watch TCM app. Lots of tension, very romantic. Probably the best performance I've seen of David Farrar, but then I think I've only seen him in this and Black Narcissus. And he's great in Black Narcissus, but he's very supporting in that, and this is a true lead from him. Kathleen Byron is good in every Powell and Pressburger film. Like, she's fantastic. So I definitely recommend this. It's based on a book that I want to track down. And then the last film I watched, I thought it was going to be good, and this happens to me a lot, where I'm like, this sounds great, and then it's not great. So this was 1930s Girl of the Port, starring Sally O'Neill, who has like the most New Jersey accent of all time. So it starts out with a really good, harrowing World War I, Flanders Fields, like everyone's dying scene. There's like mustard gas, people are going blind, and then they're like out with the flamethrowers. Everyone's dying and screaming and chaos, and it's like, whoa. And then it cuts to this island, because it's one of those, there were a bunch of these movies in the late 20s, early 30s of like showgirls stranded on islands. Like there's a bunch of them. And so this one is Fiji. So Sally O'Neill plays a showgirl named Josie, who ends up stranded in this place in Fiji, and she ends up being a barmaid, where she runs into Jim, who was one of the soldiers from the opening scene. He is suffering from really bad PTSD and is trying to drink himself to death, but he finds salvation in her love. That would be a great film. But then there's all this really crazy white supremacist shit with like people yelling at half-breeds, and like the dude having to prove that he's better than the half-breed, and like it was a bit much. But he faces his fear, so, you know, even white supremacists can face their fear, I guess. Yeah, it did have an actor who's actually a native Hawaiian, Duke, I cannot say this name, Kahana Moku, so, like, at least one of the, like, Fiji character people was actually an islander, but not from Fiji. This is as close as they're going to get in 1930, but, like, the half-breed stuff was really hard to watch, and Thankfully, this movie was only 70 minutes long. And they didn't really have any chemistry, so it didn't really make any sense that they were like finding salvation in each other because they had no chemistry. So those were the movies that I watched. They're all on Watch TCM right now. I think this video went too long. I'm not sure, so I'm going to sign off. Adios.